Hi, everybody. Hi. So I'm Luke. This is my first time doing the stream by myself, so hopefully you guys can see and hear me. And apologies for being 5 minutes late because, again, it's my first time streaming and the game didn't work. Um, so hi. Um, so I'm Luke. I'm the newest, I guess second newest now, addition to the Stonehearth team. I'm a game designer. I don't have anything in particular to show you guys tonight, other than I'm going to play the most recent in development version of the game. Show off some stuff that hasn't hit Steam Live yet. Some of it's a lot of it's already on Unstable, but I don't know how many of you guys play Unstable versus just what's on Steam mainline. So yeah. In particular, I'm going to play Riot's Children because I made an anger change last week where I took the Potter, and I had discovered a while back that the Potter was way, way, way slower than the Carpenter. Because in the files it was like, oh yeah, like a chair takes 3 work units, and like clay chair takes 3 work units, but the work unit was one animation cycle, and the saw animation and the fiddle animation were different lengths. Oh yeah, Dimitri. So I'm a game designer. I design games. Recently I've been writing a lot of design docs, but I also get in there and add new content to the game and balance numbers and all those sorts of things. Hold on, let me get my thing going. Cool. Nothing about it too hard. And I could poke at the embark for a long time, but that's not the best viewing experience, so I will just go with standard shenanigans. Cool. Alpha 23 is coming relatively soon. We're actually going to push to Unstable again tonight, and then I think we're targeting next week for Alpha 23, assuming everything's properly stable. Multiplayer, I can't give you a date, but multiplayer is being actively worked on by a bunch of smart dudes. We have done playtests. It was stable enough that we had some of the company executives come by and check it out. So it's definitely playable, but it the difference between playable by developers and enjoyable by the community and the average folks on Steam is pretty far. So we have a lot of little stuff to do, lots of little things. I need to figure out exactly how events and stuff work, where it's okay, goblins show up. Do they ask both people for stuff? Do they ask one of you? If they ask one of you and you say no, do they attack the other guy? So there's lots of odds and ends to figure out that are actually pretty important to the experience. I'll take that as a compliment, Highland Chicken. Yeah, a lot of the work that we've been doing. Yeah, this looks good. To the chagrin of the community, I think we've been doing a lot of systems work behind the scenes with stuff like Appeal is most recent, and stuff like that. So if you haven't played the game in a while and you come back, it doesn't seem like a whole lot has changed, but there is a bunch of stuff under the hood that gives us lots of nice hooks to make things better and more interesting. I really are nervous, yes. I'm also in this scary dark room. It's kind of weird. Cool. Let's see here. Wow. I think this is this has been ordained as my spot. So actually, Hooded, quest stuff is what I'm working on right now, actually. Yeah, I'll Kitty Doom. I'll blink once for yes and twice for no. Get me out of here. So actually, this is not planned, but this is something that I added a few weeks ago. It's been, I think it's unstable as of a patch or two, but it's not live yet, which is when a hearthling. So hearthlings have these things they like and love that's already on Steam. Cool. This guy happens to love wild cactuses, which is a good thing to love for Riot's children. And then every once in a while, when he walks past something that he loves or he likes, he'll just pop a little dialogue, and you can see from far away it's just a little heart, and then you get in close and you can see, oh, he loves cactus. This actually isn't the basement. We made it up to look like a basement. I don't like we have. We're on a high floor of a building, but movie magic. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was talking about quests. Yeah, I am super interested in adding more quest content to the game. Actually, being worked on. Over the next few, in the next few months, I think we are going to focus a lot more on adding just content stuff that you guys as players will actually see and be like, oh, neat, that's new, as opposed to a lot of stuff that we've been doing, which was very important, but didn't present super well. Yeah, I'm also interested in making it so that you have not only is it a little what do I want to say? Daily update isn't tuned super good and has some bad properties where it's oh, I missed it by 1 gold and now I have to wait a whole day and I'm behind, and that all that's janky. So, I want to have one of the things I would love is to have a quest that maybe you get a new hearthling from finishing the quest or whatever, giving you more ways to actually get more people and grow your town. Anyway, I've been staring at a paused screen for a long time. Let's figure this out. So, all right. I put way more weight into the perks that people have than I should, but hey, this guy's a green thumb, so he gets to be farmer. I actually kind of like assigning high mind people to farmer, because it means they get experience faster, which means I can get to the higher level crops more quickly. Let's see. So that guy's a farmer. So which one of these friends is going to be? Sure. You get to be a potter. Oops. All right. Pet peeve. The change job button needs to be on the character info sheet. Okay, cool. But I've told Nikki about that a million times. She agrees with me. It's just on the list of things to do. So spoilers, we have people there's 2 big efforts going on right now. One is multiplayer and one is the building system. And there is it's super cool. I'm really excited about it. I don't know how much we've said about it. I don't know how much I'm supposed to talk about it, but I guess suffice it to say that the Stonehearth team realizes that building buildings is core to this game, and we want it to be awesome. And right now, it is far from awesome. And what I've seen of the new builder, which, again, as a developer, pretending and being okay, you can't assign new colors yet, and you can't do this and that, but seeing the potential that's there, I'm really, really, really excited. It's super fun to play with. So again, we just need to dot all the I's and cross all the T's on that before we can we need to have it be able to do all the same stuff that the current builder can do before we can reasonably replace it, right? Pick a death. If I have anything to say about it, yes. It's funny though, because that sounds like it'd be easy, right? Just add a goblin, what big deal? But we're looking at that, and it's well, can a goblin have different jobs? Okay, we don't have a goblin carpenter uniform, so do we have to make a goblin carpenter uniform? Or can we just lock him to a certain job? It's okay, well, just lock him. He can only be a worker or whatever. He can only be in the military. It's okay, well, but hearthlings have a talking to each other animation. Do goblins have a talking to each other animation? Well, they've never had a conversation before. So so there's just all these little things. It's in game development, there's the first 80% of the work and then the second 80% of the work. So we actually have, with what's in the game already, we're pretty close to the first 80%. Like, we can spawn a goblin and put him in your town, and stuff kind of works. But getting the other 80% of the rest of the way there is pretty significant. So it's definitely something we want to do. I don't know if it will end up at the top of the heap of stuff we want to do. And yeah, and I guess there is sort of the middle ground of like, okay, you can add a goblin to your town. He can only be a worker. He can only haul because they don't have a pick animation. They don't have a chop down tree. They can only haul. But then it's just like, then they're not really a member of your town, right? Like you wouldn't care about them. They wouldn't ever talk to anybody. They wouldn't like have likes or dislikes. They wouldn't like. I don't even know if they have a sleep animation. I'm not sure I've ever seen a goblin sleep. So there's all these little things that it's like, okay, we could put an automaton in your game and it could look like a goblin, but I don't know. At that point, I would rather just take the effort that it would take to get that far to sort of a really unsatisfactory, lame goblin and put it somewhere else, or lean into it. Actually, maybe they do have a goblin. They may actually have a sleeping animation, but like technicalities, they have a different animation rig than hearthlings do, which means that, and Mally can speak to this. This is all I am stepping on Mally's toes here, but it means that it is not trivial to just be like, oh yeah, just like make him play the animation. If you've ever seen animation bugs in games, you know that playing, like if you've ever seen Sims animation bugs, you know that playing the wrong animation on the wrong model will do terrifying things. Yeah, animation bugs are my very favorite. Okay, time to play another like 5 seconds of Stonehearth before I answer more questions. Like I was saying a minute ago, I got mad and I was like, I hate that the Potter is so slow because as Raya's children, it just takes forever to get off the ground because you're depending on this guy who gains experience at the same like XP per craft rate, and it takes forever. He took over 3 times as long. It was a 30 frame animation versus a 100 frame animation. So I went through all the numbers and I reduced all the numbers by a factor of 3, but they're like had to round a little bit. I reduced the component costs, so kiln doesn't cost wood and stone anymore, even though it's like, yeah, but you probably build a kiln on a wood and stone. It's like, yeah, but I hate having to cut down the one tree that's like near my encampment to make a kiln to start making anything. So they're a lot cheaper now, although you do still have to get some clay. Let's see, what do I want to do here? Let's see. Let's go with sort of a shenanigan. Wait, hold on. Where's the grid? Here's the grid. All right. Let's do this, and then let's do like this. So a nice little step down. Yeah, Bruno can probably talk about trying to do silly things with goblins, because scroll. Although, Kitty Doom, the whole idea of like goblins being second-class citizens, like obviously that shouldn't be a thing, but we could do a lot of fun stuff where like maybe they like really like ugly things that hearthlings find ugly, like through that appeal system thing. So it's like, you know, like there's a little section of your town that's just full of skulls and rotten food, or I mean, I'm not sure exactly what, but like, and you want to keep your hearthlings out of there most of the time because they think it's terrible, but you want to have all your goblin beds in there because they think it's awesome. Like, I love that. That's so cool, right? And I would love it if it was like, hey, you know, these 5 goblins want to join your town, but you need to make a like goblin quadrant, or everyone's going to be unhappy about it, or like, these guys want to live underground, and you have to like build stuff underground. These guys want to live near trees, so you have to like go out in the forest and put them like, you know, like all these cool things that could make you like go build interesting ways. Um, because one of the things that I really want to try and do with Stonehearth is uh, like prod players to go do cool things without ever like removing their choice, right? I don't want to be like, hey, only build buildings out of stone because it's the best. It's like, well, but I like wood buildings, I like how they look. I like clay buildings, I like how they look. It's like, well, okay, hold on, no. But like, hey, build a town like on both sides of this river. That I think is like a player can do whatever they want with that because it's like there's a cool constraint and then you get to build around it. So anyway, I really like the idea of like different monsters joining your town and then different monsters having different like likes and dislikes in terms of decoration or living space. Blah blah. Optimize the game, please. Yep. Max is recently put in the position of engineering. What was it? Engineering lead, and he is very, very, very excited about optimizing the game. So, input bin. Yeah, I was hoping that the input bins wouldn't be too disruptive to miners, but it may be that we need to tweak that somehow. I think about minecarts all the time. Do you mean like in the context of this game? Or, yeah, actually, I do. I think about like one of the things in the game that is, I think, under-supported is mining, and because there's not really a good way to like make an efficient mine. Hold on. They stuck. Is at the bottom? Not yet. There we go. Oop. Okay. Neat. Okay. By the way, like I will figure out a way to fix the you build a workshop and then have to go place it manually later. That just tilts me off the face of the planet. Anyway, oh yeah, I guess we don't actually have rivers. Sorry, Bruno. Rivers are great. Oh, sorry, I was answering Dimitri. So yeah, I would love to have cool ways to make mining, like let the player invest in mining and make it like work better. I think minecarts as like, a storage box that just moves back and forth on its own could be really cool. It's not like right now we're I think trying to focus on stuff that is a little bit more multiplicative in value, where it's like a quest or whatever can be approached many different ways and can be experienced different times and kind of adds value to multiple playthroughs. Whereas a minecart is just like, I mine a little faster. It's still good to do, but not the like biggest punch for the time. Yeah, I'm sorry, we don't have rivers. I forgot we don't have rivers. I would love to get. We spent Albert spent a lot of time making a cool water system, so I'd love to see more water features. Yeah, and I also like step mining a later time is like the worst. I'm not sure if we have plans to fix that in the near term, but yeah, like making a staircase into a wall is awful. Let's see. Yeah, I think tool upgrades are a cool idea. One of the tricky things there is, like, you don't have a great way to figure out who gets what thing. But I guess it's true of the outfits as well. But it's just like if you make a super mining pick and some random worker picks it up, then if they don't choose to go mine when you have mining, you're like, why are you over there? Why are you picking? Why are you carrying stuff when you could be mining? I feel like it would get a little bit frustrating unless we were very careful about it. Yeah, minecarts would be really neat. And then, yeah, mining upwards. I would cut layers at one block layer at a time. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Bruno the mimic is really cool. Like yeah, I was impressed when he showed it off too. It kind of shows what you can do even with the sort of blocky art style. You can still make some really cool and expressive monsters. Um, we do need to figure out what to do with what to do with it, but we'll find a place for it for sure because it's super awesome. Let's see here. Put him under the tree. Um, it's true. Mimics are only surprising once. Shish, shish. No, why don't you fit? Oh well. That's a good point, right, Mally? I guess yes. Not chest. Chest-like. Um, so clay beds. Make 8 beds. Actually, hold on. Let's craft some of these, and let's slice and do this. Let's get some stuff. This is just, I know this doesn't really matter, but this is from my Dwarf Fortress days. I've definitely seen Mimic used in other contexts, like other games, so I think Mimic's probably okay, but thanks for the decorative teapot. So I got a decorative teapot, and because it actually does matter a little bit now, because it has a nice appeal value, I'm actually going to bother placing it whenever it shows up. Oh, that's right, I have to... So yeah, I don't think this is on Steam. We have an appeal viewer now that will show you just sort of broadly what if it's like a positive or neutral or negative thing, and then it'll color the ground. I think probably down here is gross. Yeah, like this area is just overall ugly. So I've actually started building like lots of torches and like putting rugs and stuff in mines so that my miners are a little less unhappy when they're mining. It's tricky, but it also means I just try and decorate their homes a little bit nicer to sort of counteract the fact they're in this dingy mine all day. So for new jobs, right now, like, I kind of want to just make all the jobs that are already in the game, like, good, worth having, right? Herbalists don't do enough right now. Mason is just kind of the, like, worse version of Carpenter. So, yeah. And then Fisherman, I think water's not around enough. Like, or rather... food is kind of trivial to deal with right now, so adding another way to get food before we like make food interesting, I think is not a waste of time, but it's just not. We could spend the time making food interesting, making farming cooler. Oh, I should harvest these. What am I doing? Free flowers, leaving value on the table. Get rid of some of these too. But yeah, I do think like fishermen's in the archipelago mod. Yeah, as soon as you have like an archipelago, it makes a lot of sense to add a fisherman because it's like that is thematically really coherent with the idea of an archipelago, right? Although, hold on, I cannot stream and play games at the same time. I should probably have my farmer, I don't know, farm things. So at present, there isn't actually any reason to put farms near water. Just speaking personally, I would love for that to be like a thing that you have to worry about because, yeah, why not? But for now, I'll just pretend. Yeah, and like I think engineer engineer could use some stuff to do for sure because it doesn't have a lot to do. I meant to build a building and I didn't. Oh well, beds for everybody, chairs for everybody. Let's I can put down the beds I have. It's like camping, but not. Cool, I'll check those out. Open a new tab. Cool. Yeah, farming game. Like, I'm not interested in adding complexity to the game where it's like you have to micromanage, you know, the farm and like hand pick all the crops. But I do want like right now to make a. There's no way to make a better farm, right? You just plunk down a square and then it takes care of itself. So at least having some ways to interact with it, making getting food more interesting is. I mean, getting food is sort of the first challenge in a game like Stonehearth, and it's not really a challenge right now. Oh, I forgot that I'm playing music through the. I'm just playing background music. I'm like, where's the enemy? I didn't see a notification. Hey, I can show this off. So I can't say for sure if this will make peace treaties, but I am interested in having more, I guess, non-combat solutions to problems in the game. Because right now, the only real challenge in the game, like once like there's don't starve to death, and then after that it's don't get overwhelmed by monsters. I want there to be more challenges than just that, and even if it's like have enough money to pay off the monsters instead. No. Let's see. Yeah, there's so much like cute stuff we could do with goblins because they're kind of adorable. Doop-a-doop. Alright, I should start building like houses and stuff instead of just building weird clusters of things. Let's see. I'm inspired. You know what? You guys don't want to see me make a staircase. I'll just build down here. Okay, so one of the things that I just built. No, or wait, what? I told you to build those first. Oh, I forgot to change the order. Darn. Oh well. Oh, cool. Yeah. So Angela was just trying to push when I started this, so I guess he managed to do it. So if you guys want to play with all the stuff that I'm playing with, it is on Unstable now. Some of it was already, but let's see. So here's two new things. One is this finished goods shelf. So when a crafter finishes making something, like say, well, just threw it on the ground. Oh, I forgot. I need to set this to have. There we go. Actually, I'll just put all. Cool. Try it again. So when you finish something like this chair, he puts it on the rack, and then it shows up, and you can see it. And now other hearthlings can come and take that to like proper storage. Let's see. Speaking of proper storage, click. Okay. I could click and type a number, but it's not nearly as fun. And then this is a supply bin, which I can just say, hey, put clay in there, and then it'll hold 12 clay, and hearthlings will obviously like try really hard to keep it full. And this unstable fixes the bug where every hearthling would run to it with a giant armload of stuff, and then it would get full, and they would just dump it on the ground. Max looked into that, and it took apparently a lot of work. Or not a lot of work. It took a pretty fundamental change, but it seems to work. That's what Unstable's for. Yeah, the point with finished goods stands being marked for a profession. It's fair. I didn't want to make the interface too complicated, and they're not expensive, so you can just put one. They will go to the nearest one, so like just have one near all your crafters was the thought. If it turns out people really do want to have like per crafter, we could do that. But part of the point of the way we did the supply bins and the finished work shelf was to try and keep the interface as simple as possible in terms of like, this is just the stockpile interface, which to be fair isn't the best, but at least people are used to it, and this is even like an even simpler version of that. Yeah, the teeny like bunch of tiny clays. Yeah, actually, I think so. Clay bricks are marked as clay, which is, I don't know. It's an artifact of the input bins, the supply bins and stockpiles using the same flags. And I think it makes sense if you have like, I have a box, I want to put clay in it. The clay bricks might go into there, but it doesn't make any sense for the supply bin. So yes, that's a bug. No, it's not completely trivial to fix, but we should maybe should maybe look at it. Anyway, let's see here. So another change I made in Anger was that clay buildings cost a lot fewer bricks now than they used to. This is because, one, I couldn't make the clay bricks recipe. Oh, wow, this is entirely backwards, isn't it? Hold on. Nope. Here we go. One of the reasons was that the clay bricks recipe was already like about as fast as it could get, and two was it just seemed like you already have to go through the effort of crafting an intermediary material where nobody else has like stone and wood don't have to do that. So decided it made a lot of sense to just make clay bricks. Like, hey, you spent the time to make bricks, so you can build more easily. Yeah, I do wish we had more building colors as well. Oh, hey, okay, so I can build. Let's make some storage. But yeah, the idea behind these like input and output thingies, like the supply bins in the finished goods bin or shelf, is that you can keep your crafters really working like really quickly, and then let's see, like really keep them like on the job, and your other hearthlings will help keep them going, because frequently like the thing that's keeping your town from progressing as fast as it could is that, hey, your crafters are busy like running into the mine to get one piece of stone. But unfortunately, I didn't have a stockpile for any of these things to go to, so they got stacked up on the shelf, which is pro tip: if you just want to display stuff, don't have a stockpile for it, or don't have a stockpile with any room available. I thought about having a like little checkbox for like don't remove stuff or letting you put stuff, because I do like the fact that you can like display things now, but again, I didn't want to overcomplicate things until we saw how these things worked. Yeah, I think fences. If you ask Nikki, she will like be like, I hate the fence, the way fences work. So really, I think we really just want to make like a fence tool where you just like draw some lines and then people make fences and go build it, kind of like you build a building. In the meantime, yeah, just having it spit out multiple fences per job would be really nice. And I think at some point I had implemented that, and then I forget why I didn't like further implement it. Why it didn't end up in the game. It's probably my fault. Okay, let's see here. Clay in there. This one and this one are for food. This one's for everything else, I guess. Anyway. Guys, finish the house. Okay, I guess you're just waiting on the interior stuff. We would like to add more biomes, at least one more. I know, like, we want to do Northern Alliance, and they think just like Rise Children gets a desert, I think they should get their own biome. But not sure exactly what's up, what the I don't know. I can't speak to the exact plans there. Yeah, I'll actually make a note to do the fence change, because I'd been on the fence about it. Sorry, but I think it makes sense. It makes the game a little confused, because we actually don't have any recipes in the game that produce multiple items from the same recipe, but it's okay. Is that true? If you do, because food items have multiple servings, but it's actually one item that gets produced. And then I guess old fine items, the way that fine items used to work, where you'd end up with a chair and a fine chair, was similar. Okay, made a note. Cool. Oh, yeah, Pick a Death's right. I don't have a guard. Did I embark with the sword? I don't remember. I don't think I did. Which is another thing I want to fix, because that's silly. Yeah. For the first wave of enemies, I can just town defense and they'll punch them to death, but you're right, I should be trying to get to building a sword. Okay, well, time to cut down a tree. Wait, how? Darn it. What's the path to sword? I have to get all the way to build a blacksmith, and then get a blacksmith, and then make a saw, and then make a sword, right? Yeah, I think there should be a clay practice sword, right, for Raya's children. Like they should be able to make a footman out of the gate. I think it's fine that like it takes an carpenter to make an archer, for example. It's fine, but the basic defense unit should be something you just can do. Yeah, I think a tundra style biome is probably pretty likely. But and I know it's been worked on, but part of the problem is like tundras are boring. So like, how do we make it cool? And we have ideas in that. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it's not just like just make a big flat white thing, cool. And, yeah, we need to spice it up. That's right. You want to trade for it. But I don't know if is there always a merchant that shows up guaranteed that has the sword? I guess maybe there is. Hey, dude. Yep. As I'm saying that, let's see. Here, take my urns. I'll buy this sword. I think I earned it. Wow, okay, I have bad puns tonight. Yeah, a flat big white thing's great for building, but it's not very interesting, right? I mean, I think it could be interesting if we offered a big flat green thing, kind of like Minecraft does. There's like a creative mode or whatever, but I mean, neither here nor there. Yeah, actually, I actually looked into historic ceramic swords, and nobody, as far as I could tell, there weren't any actual like clay-fired swords, but in Central America, they had sword-like things that were sort of half club, half sword, that were these cool two pieces of wood with like fragments of like sharpened ceramic like pieces in them, and they're pretty neat. Yeah, so ceramic is extremely sharp but very brittle, and when you see a ceramic knife or whatever, like like this kitchen supply store, like ceramic knife, it's actually a ceramic metal alloy. I don't know if alloy is the word, but it's a ceramic metal hybrid. So unfortunately, these folks wouldn't have the tools to like make it. Although I mean, we can also just sort of hand wave that too, because we are a fantasy video game. What's your stats? Nice. Let's see here. Okay, so now I actually have a sword, so I will make you into... I always open the character sheet. There we go. Now I have... Oh yeah, I guess glaciers is sort of what we were talking about. I guess tundra and glaciers mean the same thing to me, but that's not true. A donkey? We don't have any donkeys though. Although that would be awesome to just had a donkey pet in general. Let's see. Oh hey, he made a really cool bed. Nice, good job. My storage solution is pretty unattractive right now. And then here, all but not resources. Just vacuum up the rest of stuff. Yeah, I think I want trade to be a thing that works better, which means that I think having more reliable and understandable merchants, like Dwarf Fortress has a pretty neat system that's really overcomplicated, where you like request certain things and like they have price differences and you like say how much you want them, and I think something akin to that where it's like, hey, I really need wheat and you can like reasonably trade for it would be really good for the game, as well as having I guess, some reasonable thing you can make to sell, and whether that's like, oh man, there's a great market for wooden chairs right now, or it's I'm gonna have my person make toys which have no like direct use, but it can be sold for monetary value, or things like that, right? Like, I want you to be able to actually do trade in a way that isn't just figure out which of the furniture items has the best gold value for the cost and then just crank them out. Oh, I'm out of clay. That's what's happening. Yeah. Tell you what, I'm just gonna. You know what? There, plenty of clay in there. Just general conversation and gameplay. I didn't. So Richard was supposed to stream and he couldn't. So like, hey Luke, you're a designer. You should stream. I'm like, okay. But yeah, this is actually this is partially me doing a little bit more playtesting on the Potter changes that I made. Just making him faster and sort of playing around more with supply bins and output, or whatever they called. Whatever you call. Sorry, finished work shelf. Game does funny. Like these were input bins and these were output bins for like a month, and so now they're finished work shelves and supply containers, and I can't kick the old nomenclature. No kids. Yeah, and I use toys as an example just because that's what I tended to have my like Dwarf Fortress Dwarves build was toys. But the idea of like cash crops that your farmers can make, or basically industry things you can make for export that are not necessarily like things that you'd use in your town. But then again, just having a thing where it's like, we like large urns, make us a bunch of large urns and we'll give you money, like as a more reliable idea, I think would be really helpful. Because right now you just sort of crank out whatever is most gold efficient and then sell a bunch of it, and it's sort of lame. Let's see, make one of them, I should probably also make mason chisel. Oh, I used up all wood. Oh, right. That's what's not being built. I need wood for this. I'm so dumb. I forgot about wood. So we are getting close to out of time, but not quite. So if you have any more questions you wanted to ask me, go for it. Yep, I think a supply-demand thing where like selling too much of the same thing gets, supply-demand where selling the same item a bunch like lowers its value, or there's different kinds of merchants that show up, and like the weapon merchant doesn't want to buy your shelves, or like even if it's not you selling a lot of stuff, but like every time they show up, it's like, I'm here to buy stuff, and then I've heard that the next hot thing is going to be this, and then you can like plan around it, or that kind of stuff. Basically, I just want things that cause the player to like change plans. Because right now you can have a single plan, like build tapestries, and then just build tapestries, and it's not a problem. Just build a lot of tapestries, which is fine. But I think the most interesting thing about a game like Stonehearth is sort of piloting your town, making decisions, making choices, while also making it beautiful, and also taking like 4 days to build a house because I forgot to cut down trees. Yeah, I think weapon racks are possible. Right now we just decided to sort of focus on this, but the idea, now we have the tech to put iconics into models like on bones and animation spots, so that we can actually make a weapon rack now that actually shows the weapons that are on it. So yeah, it may be possible for a modder to add that now, but yeah, I think when we get around to doing more military stuff, weapon rack would be neat. Okay, never mind, we're not doing weapon racks. Mally has spoken. Um, yeah, and don't take anything that I say as like promise. Like I am. These opinions are my own, and everything is subject to. We want to make the best game, the coolest content for you guys we can. So we sometimes put things in the back burner to do other things first. And there's only like 15 of us, and we don't. Yeah, and we're spread across a bunch of different disciplines. So we can't do everything we want to do, but we can pick which thing we want to do first. So. Yeah, weapons have iconics now, I think, but they also look kind of derpy because it's like, hey, this is a spear. It's like, well, it needs to fit a box this big, so like they can be informative, but they can't look good for display. I think I actually haven't seen the spear iconic, but I think we have one. Yeah, I think in general having better interactions with the like many like the animals that show up would be cool. I wish the trapper would actually go hunt instead of trapping, like magically materializing squirrels. But you know, that's for later. Like we'll get there. Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't want to talk about stuff I'm not sure if it's been talked about yet. Did they finish this building? They finished this building! Hooray! Okay. Let's build the farmer a house. Farmers deserve houses. Okay, I actually have all the stuff that I need this time. Nice. That's fair too, yeah, like kind of like the trapper goes to shepherd and then could also go to hunter on the other side. Do you want to make friends with the animals or eat the animals? Up to you. Oh yeah, this is new in the like this alpha anyway, is just have a little progress bar for crafting. It's nice. Actually, this whole bottom left bar is new and redone. Looks very snazzy. Not falling for it. Big boy doodle. Mike boy doodle. Mike boy doodle. I think we should have a thing where you put bait out, and then when the thing gets trapped, you have to go play an actual round of Monster Hunter to like kill it and harvest the meat. Yeah, I actually don't know anything about the like implementation of how like witchers later. Implementation of how the things show the like how hard it is to get these icons to show up, but I know we couldn't do it before and now we can, so I assume it's I assume a modder could probably do it. Guys, no, they haven't. I'm actually not off the top of my head not sure how to fix that, but we should. Or rather, it might make sense to make Raya's children not care about being sleeping outdoors. Like that's I think a cool little flavor thing for the sort of nation. Like they're outdoorsy people. They're used to sleeping under the sun. Like it's good for them. But yeah, it's this weird thing between like this looks cool, but yeah, I don't know. We should probably just be like, if you're under a roof, I can actually, with the new building system, maybe we can do something where it's like, if you're just under a roof, broadly, you're indoors. Yeah, so the hearthling tooltips were like, we had a tooltip thing pop up. I actually really liked specifically the hearthling ones, because it was like, who's this? And you got names. I think what ended up happening was we got a lot of feedback about them being really disruptive and like confusing and like things popping up all over the place. People just didn't like it. So when we had to kind of like move on, like we didn't have time to really iterate like we wanted to. So I think we just put it aside for now. But I agree, like there was definitely something cool to being able to see at a glance like who's who. Yeah, I just really like love how the Rise Children roof like style is. So I wish it was a little bit more. I wish we just fixed. Riot's Children has had the problem of being kind of a second-class citizen for a long time, and I think we're finally coming around to bother paying attention to them again because they deserve it, right? They're supposed to be just as good as the Ascendancy, and there's lots of little things that are broken or not as like just not as well tuned as the Ascendancy is. They do have good music. I love the game has great music in general, but and I generally like the desert aesthetic. I think making them toggleable is probably fine. I think what it was is that the stuff that went to unstable was kind of a first pass, and I think before we even were happy to like ship it at all, then we'd want to tweak it more. Plus, there's always the problem of if you have a feature like that, you can't depend on every player to find the option to turn it off. So if it's on by default, a lot of players will be like, I hate these tooltips, and they won't even think to look for an option to turn it off. So that kind of sucks. And the flip side would be that you ship with the feature off, and then only a handful of people in the whole community know that the option's even there. So if we couldn't get something that was at least like palatable to people, having it on by default, I don't think we would do it. Yeah, I don't know I'm not sure what our plan for water is. Like water right now is in this weird spot because like it doesn't even quite work yet because you can like hearthlings are perfectly fine being underwater. Okay, likes that chair though. So that's true. I guess they do swim, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, I would love to see water, like irrigation for farming. It would just it's a really natural thing to expect, and I think players would enjoy it. They would enjoy, just like you enjoy building a town and planning your roads, you would also enjoy building a farm and planning your irrigation, and building little lake bridges and stuff. It'd be cute. So anyway, it's 7, so I'm going to call it a night for the stream. Thanks guys for watching and for questions and such. Yeah. Have a good night, guys. I'll save my game. Hold on. Yes. What's the one small thing? Star Eagle Hunter? Making stuff faster. Yeah, I think crafting speed. So a bunch of work was done to. We'll say. The old crafting system a few months ago, like from like launch of the game a few months ago, didn't really allow for making things faster, just because of the way it was programmed. Like not by like a little bit. Like you make things like twice as fast, but not like 10%. We have the underpinnings for making it like letting you build stuff a little bit faster now, but there's a few problems left to solve. Like I was talking about before, there's the first 80% and the second 80%. Part of that second 80% is making the animations look reasonable, because as soon as it's like, initially it's like, I'm gonna make a chair, saw, cool. Now it's like, I make a chair, like 1/6 faster, saw, done. Like, oh, okay, what? Okay, I'm spooked now. I'm gonna call it a night. Hope the ghosts don't get me. Have a good night, guys.